There it is. Oh. All right, this is what I wanted to read. Banim atem lashem Elokeichem. You are sons of God, your God. Lo tidgodedu v'lo tasimu karcha ben einechem lamut. What does it mean? Go to do? It means to make like scars in your cuts in yourself. Rashi, lo tidgodedu. See if I can get this pointer here. Lo tidgodedu. Lo titnu gdidim. Don't make like scars, cuts. V'seret b'basarchem, or a strip in your flesh on a dead person. Kederach shamorim osim, like the Amorites do. Lefi, because she'atem baniv banav shel makom, you are the children of God.
Is it not you shouldn't make a stash on yourself?
On yourself, on your own flesh.
Yes.
Va'atem ro'im liot na'im, and you should be beautiful. Later on, we'll see that you shouldn't make tattoos and things like that. V'lo gedudim u'mekorchim, and not all slashed up and cut. Bein einechem, don't put one between your eyes. Oh, here it seems that it's okay to do it everywhere else. It just says you can't make a korcha, whatever it is, like a empty spot between your eyes.
Your eyes.
Eitzel padachat, by the forehead. But in another place it says, "V'lo yikrachu korcha b'rosham." It says you can't do it anywhere. Lasot kol rosh keben eneihem. Don't make the whole rest of your head like between your eyes. In other words, to make a cut or to make a slash or something like that on your skin, you're not allowed to do it. Interestingly enough, here it says, what's said, this is brought down in the Tanya, also in the second chapter of the Tanya, that every Jew is a son of God. Banim atem l'Shem Elokeichem, that you are a son of God. It says, B'ni B'chor Yisrael. God said told Moses to tell to Paro, my son, my chosen ones, Israel. And it says, Banim atem l'Shem Elokeichem, every Jew is a son of God. How is this expressed in the most simple things? It's not that the Jews have the ability to pray just in your flesh, a Jew. Therefore, you're not even supposed to make a mark in your flesh. Here, let's look at one second. All right, let's just continue. Here's an interesting one. The Ohr HaChaim. What's his connection between being a son of God and not making a slash for a dead person? What happens when a person, his mother, his father, somebody dear to him, they die, so he wants to show his pain, express his pain on a person that dies. I mean, it's a very, very shocking thing when you see somebody who you know and you're close, and that's it. He just dies and you put him in the ground. You know, a thing when he was alive, you couldn't do a thing like that. You would never dream of it. And now you're trying to get, this person into the ground as fast as possible. So therefore, it's sort of a natural thing that a person in his grief might slash himself, just, anything to take his mind off of it. It says, Banim atem l'Shem Elokeichem, tzorech l'dad, you should know, matam samach mama. What does it say? And Banim atem, what's this got to do with you are sons of God to not making a slash because of the dead people? He explains, near it seems like this. Shenitkaven lomar, it means to say, shebemitat ish, when a person dies, ein aveda lamet Elaharihu domeh la'adam sheshalach bano l'schora le'ir acheret. When a person dies, don't think that that person is gone forever. It's as though you sent the person to some strange place, faraway place. Well, yomim shalach ha'av achar bano ve'en heder haben ela min hamakom shahalach misham. It's like your father. A person sends his son, let's say from New York, he sends him to Israel, and then afterwards the father himself moves from New York to Israel. What happens? Both of them are missing from New York, but they exist in the new place where they are. Adarabba b'tovlo, it's even better. He moved to a better place. Shechazar ben Eitzel, now his father is again by his son. They're both together. Shehu makor achayim, which is the source of life. So it's the same exact thing. A person, when he dies, the soul is eternal. It just goes back up to its father. So therefore, you shouldn't make scratches. Why did the Goyim make a scratch? Because they figure this person is gone and he's never going to come back again. He says, no, he's gone. He's gone to the source where he was from, which is not the non-Jews, that they aren't bunning for God. Therefore, when they die, it's not like the son is going back to his father again. And when a Jew dies, it's his father, his son goes back to the father. So therefore, because we are sons of God, those who left down here don't cry or don't scream. It's not that bad. Atem, you, the shalal akum, the non-Jews, that they are, when they die, they're finished. That's all. Because they die, and that's it. And they're not any more alive, any life. So a non-Jew, he slashes himself because a person dies. That's it. He's gone. He's gone. And it really is amazing. But we should, it's really surprising. But we, not so. When a person dies, he is just a son of God. He goes back to his father. Okay, here we go. Ready? Ki am korashata, because you are a holy person, people. L'Hashem Elokecha, to God. Ubechol b'char Hashem, that to you chose God. Here you know that the Jewish people are the chosen ones of God. Also, what it says over there by Paro, the other one that it brought up, that God says to Moses, go and tell Paro, B'ni B'chor Yisrael, my son, my firstborn. But there it's written, it's spelled like my firstborn. B'chor is the firstborn. But that's not what it means. It means my chosen ones, like with a chet. The word for chosen is to be with a chet, bachar, with a chet. And the word for firstborn is written with a chaf. But sometimes Rashi brings down over there with Paro, like it says the Bachorei Mitzrayim, that the chosen ones of Israel ran after the Jews when they left. Anyway, but here it says very clearly that if anybody asks you, how do you know the Jewish people are chosen by God? Here's the sentence. This is where it is. B'char Hashem, God chose you to be for him, La'am Segula, a special people. Mikol, for all the other nations, Asher al Panei Odama, on the whole face of the earth. Am kadoshata, you are holy. Kedushat atzmecha me'avotecha, that you make yourself, you are holy from your forefathers. Va'od b'cha b'char, not only that, God chose you. God gave you the Torah. Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, they didn't get the Torah. Okay, and now, because that was a pretty mundane thing, that how does a Jew express his holiness? He doesn't make a scar on his body when somebody dies. Well, here's something else. Lo tochal kol toiba. Don't eat disgusting things. Zota behem asher tochelu. These are the animals that you can eat. And also, of course, you know, and it's in this week's Torah portion also, the commandment of slaughtering animals properly. You have to slaughter animals if you want to eat. You don't have to eat meat if you don't want to. But if you do want to eat meat, it has to be killed properly. If an animal dies on its own, that's called a nevela. Nevela is an animal that did not die according to this Torah process of shchita. That's called nevela. Treifa is an animal that won't live. An animal that has some sort of a blemish, a hole in its lung, a hole. There's a lot of laws about that. Right in the beginning of Yeridea, it talks about these laws. Shchita and treifot. A nevela, an animal's nevela, if a person touches a nevela is an animal that died improperly. It didn't die according to the Torah ritual of shchita. It was run over by a car, ran over naturally. You did shchita on it, you did the proper shchita, but the knife had a nick in it, or the person who slaughtered, he delayed a little bit, or he pushed on the knife, or dug the knife in. Right? There's a lot of laws about shchita. Zota behema shetochelu. This is the animal that you should eat. Shor, se, ksavim, v'seizim. That's it. 3 animals called behemas that you can eat. Then there's a lot of animals which are called chayas. A chaya is like an antelope, a deer. Let's see, I have pictures if you want. I've got a nice picture book for you. This is the animal that you should eat. Shor, se, ksavim, v'seizim. An ox, cow, sheep, se, kivsavim, and a se, and goat. That's it. Now those are called behemoths. Now you're going to get what's called the chayas. Ayel, tzvi, yachmur, ako, dishon, ut'o, v'zomer. What are these animals? I'll give you a few pictures as you'll see. Rashi, Ayel, Tzvi, Yachmor. Lamadu, to tell you that a chaya, these animals are called chayas. That's also a behema. Usually these other animals, the chayas, are not easily domesticated. Lamadu, to teach you, Shabahema v'chaya tamea maruba min tahora. That the impure animals are more in number than the pure animals. In other words, animals that could be permissible to eat, if you slaughter them properly, are much less than the animals that are forbidden to eat. Shabakol makom poret et amiut. Usually the Torah tells you the smaller number, more economical. It's going to list every not kosher animal. Well, it would list the not kosher animals if the not kosher animals were the majority. If the not kosher animals were the minority, then it would list the not kosher animals. But it doesn't. It lists only the smaller number, the minority. And in here, it happens to be that the minority of behemoths are kosher, and the minority of chayos, like deer and wild animals like that, are kosher. Okay, aku, this is, it says yale sela. This is like a mountain goat. This is a ashtenbok, a mountain goat.
Ibex, Steinbock.
Einbock, okay, an ibex, okay.
Steinbock.
Yeah.
Steinbock.
Steinbock, it says a Steinbock, right. Stein means stone.
Yeah,
And Bock, I
ibex.
think, so I think it's a mountain goat, a mountain ibex, who knows? Who knows what these things are nowadays? I mean, nowadays all you do is according to the signs. Tochayor, I don't know anybody that eats, that has eaten, I've heard people that have eaten deer.
And giraffe?
That's called venison. A giraffe, listen, there's another law which says you can only eat animals that you have that somebody saw in the previous generation, people eating these animals. If you have some reliable rabbi that says, yes, in my country they used to eat these things, as you can eat them.
You had to say a Jew eating them, not a...
Giraffes, I've never heard of anybody eating a giraffe. But I mean, it would be one of the easiest animals to slaughter. That's for sure. Because you can slaughter, the place of slaughtering an animal is any place between the top of the throat, the glottis or whatever it's called, and the lungs. Anywhere in that whole area is kosher to slaughter. So you have some animals that like doves or something that's very hard to find. It's a very short area. A giraffe would be the biggest area of all. It would be the easiest animal to shech. If it was kosher. I don't know if it's kosher, but I never heard that.
It says it's kosher, yeah.
Huh? Who said?
It says, yeah, no.
Where does it say that?
A gazelle, a deer, a yoshmur, an ibex, a chamois, a bison, and a giraffe.
Oh, that's how we translate.
Giraffe is vazamer.
That's the zamer is the giraffe.
Zamer is the giraffe, and the.
I don't know. I never heard of anybody eating a giraffe. I don't know if these things.
The akko is the ibex, which you see by the Dead Sea. You see it by the Dead Sea a lot. The ibex.
Yeah, I know. I've seen them. I've seen them also. But okay.
I've never eaten one though. But I've seen people eat giraffe.
Well, you got to get experienced. You got to get experienced.
It's Africa.
Yeah, there's Africa. There's a. Okay, let me see. Let's see how they translate it here. I have my English translation here. Let's see how they translate it. One second.
Zamer is a giraffe. I don't know.
I mean, if giraffes are kosher, then maybe we're missing something really.
No, we're not. We're not. Don't worry.
You don't think so? Huh? Why, you know somebody who ate a giraffe?
Yes.
Lions.
South Africa, the lions eat them, but people eat them. People eat them.
Here, in mine it says, listen to this. Mine it says, the hart, the deer, the yachmur, the akud, tishon, toa, zamer. It does not translate these words. It does not translate these words. This is a pretty reliable translation here, the Art Scroll Tanakh. Usually
this is in the Chayaynu. This is in the.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say, please, my how do you say? And with all respect to these people, I think they went a little bit overboard. I never saw anywhere that it was written that a giraffe is kosher, even though it could be. I have all the signs. Could be, but that's, I think, overdoing it. Okay.
Okay.
Ako to is a tor bla, tor hayar. What is it? Some sort of a desert, of a, what is it, jungle ox.
Yes.
Anyway, Bala. Okay, call behema. Here we go. This is an easy way to figure it out. Ready? Call behema mafresis parsa or shosa shesa. Any behema that has a split hoof and a shasas shesa. We're going to see what this is. This is pretty weird, this shesa thing. If it's two prasos, so that it comes out to be two separate hooves on each foot, malagera, and also it chews its cut in a behema, osa tochelu, you can eat. It doesn't mean you must eat it. You don't have to eat every animal. Mafresis parsa saduka. Mafreset means that it is split. Parsa, what is a parsa? Here we go. Planta, or that, I think that's French, and this is usually German. Anyway, shosa, here we go. This is divided into two fingernails. Sheesh seduka ve'enu chaluka b'tzipornayim. It is totally two separate things. Vehi tame'ah. This is impure. There's behema, mashma, masha nimsa behema. What you can find in an animal you can eat, which learn from this, shashalil nitar b'shchita zimo, that the placenta is permissible with the eating of its mother. The placenta is permissible when you eat its mother. Just one second, there aroused in my mind here a question which I did not see before. Just give me a moment, please. Just give me a moment. Here. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. I mistranslated this. Here it is. sheyesh seduka, that sometimes it can be divided, but it's not chaluka but supornaim. It's not divided into two separate things. And this is tummy. And you're going to see that that's sort of like what a camel is. A camel is like on the top. Let me see if I can find this. I have a book over here. This is the sort of disadvantage of learning far distance. A camel is divided, but not all the way through. Not all the way through. Let's see. Here we go. Can we go over here? Let's see. Okay, I can't make this bigger for some reason. Here you see the picture. Can I show you pictures? Yes, I hope so. Here. See this here? I don't know if you can see pictures in this thing. Here's my picture book. And here we have a picture of a not kosher animal. Let's see. Here is a not kosher animal. Here's my book. Here's the animal. See, here's the foot. This animal is not kosher, not split. Right? Now here is two, it's split, right? But it's not two nails. It's not two hard things like this. Right? Here's a kosher animal. A kosher animal, it is like two nails. See? But this is like in a camel, right? Something like that. It is split, but it's not two separate nails like this. Cool. It's all flesh. A little bit of nails are at the end. So that's like a human nail here. Can you see it? Can you see it? This is not kosher. Here he has other pictures here. One second. Look to this thing here. Oh. This is kosher animal. But then he has a nice picture over here of a camel. And the camel, on the bottom, it's not split all the way through. And where is this? Here we go. It's all these nice pictures here, National Geographic. But here we have our giraffe. Here we have our giraffe. 1 minute. See here, it says here that a giraffe has got, okay, a kosher animal is supposed to only have teeth on the bottom, not on the top. And a giraffe has them. A giraffe hasn't got teeth on the top, that's okay, but it has these, like sinews. These sinews, what the sinews are exactly, I don't know. He says nevim, which is an animal that's tahor. It should not have these sinews on the top. And here, if you can see the picture, this is the sinews. Here's the giraffe's mouth. And if you get closer to it, you can see it only has teeth on the bottom, but it has one of these, some sort of sinews that hang down from the top called nevim. And that makes it not kosher. So according to this, the giraffe is, or sorry, Mr. Giraffe, you are not kosher. It's not kosher. So I guess the book there is not right. Maybe it just doesn't agree with this. And here we have our camel. Here we have our lion, which of course, you know, here's a camel. And the camel is pretty interesting. Let's see if I can, that doesn't have the picture. I found it before. Just 1 minute. Yeah, here it is. This is what we just finished learning. This is the bottom of a kosher animal. It's totally split. See, here you have something that's totally split. Is this clear at all what I'm talking about or not? Two separate things,
yes.
Which is, yes, that's called shasa, which is not, here is, we have our horse, one big nail on the bottom, horseshoe, and our cow, and here, here we got our, here we are. Here we have our camel. This, we had the picture before. Here is our camel. 2 nails, small nails. True, it's split, yes, but it's not shesa. It is not shesa. And he had a better picture over here before. I can't find it. I found it before. Anyway, if you look at the bottom of it, it's like this is the bottom of a foot. It should be double, straight through, all the way through. Here we have, all the way through, and 2 separate hooves on the bottom, divided into 2. That's what makes it kosher. And here we have a picture that only the bottom teeth, only has bottom teeth. Okay. Back to, so it seems from this that the camel is not kosher. Maybe write them a letter or something. This you should not eat. There's animals that they do. Here's another minimum. There are animals that do chew their cud, or they have separate hooves. The camel, the rabbit, the hare. Hare is like a rabbit. Why? All these 3, they do chew their cud. They do chew their cud. The camel chews its cud, but it does not have a split hoof, like we saw in the pictures. Tmimim lachem. The pig has a split hoof, but it does not chew its cud. From their flesh do not eat, and from their dead bodies don't even touch. What does it mean, don't touch it? Who's not supposed to touch? Let's look at Rashi. It says the rabbis explain, this is talking about on the holidays. It used to be that everyone had to be pure in order to go to the holy temple. So therefore, this animal's a dead animal, a nevela you should not touch. This is talking about beregel in the holidays. Because a person has to sanctify himself for the holiday. You might think maybe the whole year you should be careful not to touch one of these dead animals. The Torah says, say to the Kohanim, Emor, Parshat Emor, Matum Mameit Chamura Kohanim. It says the Kohanim are not allowed to touch a dead body. That's the worst type of tuma. It's called the grandfather, Avi Avos Tuma. Only the Kohanim are warned not to touch a dead body. But in Yisrael Muzarim, but Jewish people, the regular, normal Jew, Yisrael, or even is not warned about touching a dead body, even a Levi. As if so, if Jews are not warned about touching dead bodies, which is very severe the whole rest of the year, so Tumas Nevela, Kala, Lo Kol Shechin, if so, for sure, if Jews are allowed to defile themselves with a dead body, for sure they're allowed to touch a Nevela, an unslaughtered animal that did not die properly. Now we have, these are the animals, let's do this quickly, that you can eat from the water. It has to have snapir, it has to have fins, the kaskeset, and it has to have scales, fins and scales. And anything that does not have fins and scales, you can't eat. It is tamei to you. If you want to see animals that have no fins and no scales, go to the fish market in China. I was there like 3 years ago. Everything that moves is there. Eels and all sorts of bizarre things. Called Sipor Tahora Tochelo. All the pure, yes?
It's fish with scales in the water. Because sometimes you take fish out of the water and the scales come off.
Oh, that could be. That could be. I've never seen a thing like that, but.
Kingklip, yeah. It's a fish that's kosher, but the scales come off as you pull it out of the water.
This I did not know. I never heard that there was such a thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The same person who said the giraffe kosher told you this also? No, no thanks. Okay.
No. This is on this everybody. This is the Jewish community.
Common knowledge. Okay.
Yeah, this is something that's eaten.
I mean, there's gefilte fish.
The giraffe you see, but it's not Jews that are eating it. So it's not.
We have like gefilte fish on Shabbos, doesn't have any scales. That's
exactly. There we go. Correct, Rob. But it's got carrots.
That carrot, yeah.
Jelly.
Carrots make up for it. Okay. Called Tzipor, all kosher birds, tochelu. You can eat it. Doesn't mean you must. This is not a positive commandment to eat every kosher bird. Called Tzipor Tahora tochelu means you can eat it if you want to. Lahatir mishulachat shiba metzora, that you can, if you have the animal, the bird from the person that had leprosy, that's how it's translated, sarat, and the one bird you're supposed to throw into the field and the other one you shech. So the one that you throw away to the field, is you're allowed to eat it. It's edible, permissible to eat. You shouldn't. The ones you shouldn't eat, the nesher, the paris, the uznia, whatever it is, a hawk, a eagle, etc., a vulture, hara'ah, aya, daya. All these other animals, these other birds, majority of birds are yes kosher. That's called orev. All of the crows, can't eat a crow. The batyana, what's it called? The batyana is what's it? Ostrich. An ostrich, at the tachmos, at the shachaf, a nates lemineu, all these other strange animals, birds. If you look in the back of your siddur, you'll see all sorts of pictures. Every siddur has different pictures of their own interpretation of what these birds are. Generally speaking, birds of prey, birds that kill other birds, are not kosher. They say that the Shalah HaKodesh, Yeshaya Horowitz, that he lived, like, I don't know, 400 years ago, something, 300 years ago. And he once saw a turkey attack another animal, another bird, and eat it. And he said, from then on, we're not eating turkey anymore. And there's all these people that are his relatives from the Horowitz family. Sometimes from Russia, they're called Gorevich, because the Russians can't pronounce hey. So they call Horowitz, they call Gorevich. So a lot of those people called Horowitz, Gorevich, they don't eat turkey. Because, but it's not really that clear which are the permissible animals and they are not permissible animals. Generally speaking, I've never seen anyone that has eaten a bird except for, chicken, goose, pigeons, and that's it. Sparrows and things like that, never saw. Chassidah, pelicans, duchifat, atalev, bats. No, I guess atalev cannot be a bat because bats are not birds. Okay, also shiratza oaf. Anything that flies is tameh, and we're going over our time. We call oaf tahor tochelu. You can't eat any nevela. Okay, then there's all of the grasshoppers. Here it's not enumerated. All these permissible grasshoppers that are permissible. And finally it ends and it says, Lo tavashil. What's this? What is this? Well, how did I get there? Why is it in big print? All right. Lo tochlu kol nevela. Don't eat even a kosher animal, but that was not slaughtered properly. Don't eat it. Leger asher bisharecha titneno. You have to give it to the ger that's in your gates. What type of a ger? A convert? A convert can't eat nevela. This is talking about a ger toshav. Rashi says ger toshav. What's a ger toshav? It used to be in the time when there was a Sanhedrin, and there will be again when there's a Sanhedrin, a thing called a ger toshav. This is a non-Jew that accepts on himself the 7 Noahide commandments officially, and he can live in the land of Israel. Nowadays, there is no such thing as a ger toshav. There can be a non-Jew that accepts the 7 Noahide commandments, but there's not a ger toshav. Anyway, ger toshav is a person that he accepts on himself not to serve idols, but ochel novelas, but he can eat novela. Why? Because ata am ki am kadosh ata, because you are holy to God. You Jews are a holy nation. Am kadosh ata kodesh et atzmacha. Here's what it says: how do you kosher? How do you make yourself holy? How do you make yourself holy? How? You sit in the mountains, you meditate, you remove yourself from mankind. No, just don't eat frogs. Don't eat bats. That makes you holy. From this it shows kadesh et atzmecha b'mutar lach. A Jew's holiness is mostly not just in the Torah and the commandments. Of course, that's holy. How he eats, what he says, that really differentiates him from the non-Jews. The non-Jews also have their rituals and things. Devarim mutarim, things that are permissible. But other people say you can do things forbidden. Acharim nohegim behem isur. Al titram al tatiram bifneihem. If there's some things that you might think that it's okay, don't say that I am going to eat these things that are forbidden. Don't eat. And here, how does it end? One of the 3 times it says the same sentence. Lo tevashel gedi b'chalavimo. Do not cook a baby, whatever it is, a goat, in its mother's milk. Lo tevashel shlosh pamim. It says it 3 times. This is not relevant to a chaya and an oaf and a behema tameya. It is forbidden to boil. We learned this. It's forbidden to boil milk and meat, even not eating it, just to boil milk and meat. This prohibition of boiling milk and meat only refers to these 3 animals: a sheep, a goat, and a cow, and not necessarily in its mother's milk. You can't boil a grown-up goat in the milk of a young sheep, even if it's not its mother. You're not allowed to boil it. But you can boil chicken in milk. You can do it. Who wants to do it? Let's say a non-Jew asks you to do it. You can do it. Okay, that is this week's Torah Parshat that we're going to learn. Let's now learn Pirkei Avos.